Welcome, Yogi. My name is Ivorie Jenkins. I'm going to guide you today through what's going to be a part lecture and part meditation. During the lecture portion, what we're going to do is discuss the lows of the first trimester because there's a lot of lows, and specifically what causes the lows, which are your elevated hormone levels. And then we're also going to try to manage those lows by reframing them from a negative to a positive. And just a note to you, I just made it out of my first trimester, and the lows have become higher. It really is your feel good trimester. So just stay encouraged and know that there is huge rainbow at the end of where you are now. So, first trimester, it's really a mental game, I think. You're not showing any physical signs of pregnancy, but you definitely feel pregnant, right? So like nobody's giving up their seat on the subway system for you. Nobody's trying to help you with your groceries, but it's like you know that you're pregnant and you're going through probably the hardest part of the pregnancy, but just internally with nothing to show for it. So it can be really, really frustrating. Um, your breasts are tender, you're nauseous, you're tired, you're emotional, you're crying just because the grass is so green. You're bloated, but you're also constipated. You're hungry, but at the same time, food just disgusts you. You're trying to wrap your head around motherhood or motherhood 2.0 or 3.0. And then you got to pee all the time, right? It's just overwhelming. There's so much to contend with. So it's important to note that there are very specific hormones that are an explanation to everything that I just mentioned above. Everything that you're experiencing for a very specific reason, and making peace with that reason, the reason being the hormonal shifts, is a really good first step at winning this mental game that is the first trimester. So, one thing that's really interesting about what's happening right now is that your baby is growing at the fastest rate that it will ever grow, like for its whole life. So between the weeks of 4 weeks to 9 weeks, right? At 4 weeks, the baby's the size of a grain of rice. And then it multiplies by the eighth or 9 week into the size of a grape. Right. So, I mean, I know both of them are small, but that's a huge leap from the grain of rice to the grape. And throughout your entire pregnancy, the baby's weight is going to increase over 3 billion times. And right now, that's happening at its fastest rate, that growth. So, that's part of what you're feeling. The three main culprits that are causing just all of the havoc in your body right now are going to be progesterone, estrogen, and then something called human chorionic gonadotropin. We'll just call it HCG, which it is popularly known as. Progesterone, that's known as the pregnancy hormone, and it's the main hormone that's kind of running the show. It's your body's natural slow down mechanism, and it works as a natural sedative, which is why you feel so tired. Even after you've slept for 10 hours, you wake up in the morning, you eat breakfast, and then you're like, yeah, I could go for another nap. You might not be able to, your schedule may not allow it, but you feel that way. You could go right back to sleep. It also slows down your mobility and your digestive tract. So that's why you may not feel like eating much, or you may feel that sensation of constipation or bloated. Progesterone is also building the lining of your uterus so that your immune system doesn't register your growing baby as a foreign object. I just think that that's so amazing, right? That there's this baby here, and if the hormone doesn't actually do that, it will try to push the baby out. So this is obviously a very important job of this hormone, progesterone. And then there's estrogen. So you're going to produce more estrogen while you're pregnant at this point in your life than you will throughout the rest of your life put together. So that's a lot of estrogen that you've got flowing through your blood. This hormone stimulates your uterus, so it's going to stretch the uterus so that it can accommodate the growing baby. It prepares your breasts for milk production by enlarging the milk ducts. Estrogen also intensifies your moods. So you may find yourself more sensitive, right? You just cry just because, or maybe more irritable. And let your partner know that you have elevated levels of estrogen right now, so that they don't take it personally if you, you know, scream or cry. Almost exclusively, the placenta is going to be manufacturing this hormone HCG. So that's the third hormone that I was talking about. And HCG is manufactured in the very early stages of pregnancy. So the high levels of this hormone are in your urine and your blood. And that's actually what's going to produce the positive pregnancy test. Um, and although, like all of these hormones together, you kind of got a cocktail going on, all of them could be related to your queasiness. Most doctors would say that it's the HCG that causes the nausea. And once that placenta is firmly established, and that's right at about the 12-week mark, right as you're leaving your first trimester into your second, the HCG, it tapers off, it takes a dive, and then the nausea subsides, and you feel like a normal human being and you can eat normal meals again. So that was a lot. That is a lot. You are experiencing a lot. But sometimes it can be nice to have the knowledge around it. The knowledge is power, and it gives you context as to what's happening. And it's also just a reminder. I had a teacher tell me this: I'm not sick, I'm pregnant. And in the first trimester, you can just feel like you're sick, like something's wrong with you. And in fact, there's nothing wrong with you. Your body is doing something very natural, something that it knows how to do very well. Even though it's never done it before, it still knows exactly what to do. So just allowing yourself to bask in that miracle really is what it is. So now what we'll do is a short meditation. And I guess it's less of a meditation and really just a way to reframe. So let's start in a comfortable seat. You can lay down too. Maybe you're already in bed. Don't get up. And just find yourself in a comfortable spot. Roll the shoulders on your back if you are seated. Deepen and slow your breathing. So we'll start with some facts, and then we'll reframe those facts. So fact is, I am extremely exhausted. And then the reframe is, I am sharing my energy with a growing baby. And the baby is borrowing some of my energy for a finite amount of time in order to grow at the fastest rate that it's ever going to grow in its life. Just take a deep breath in and out and let that settle. Fact, my breasts are annoyingly sore and annoyingly tender. And the reframe, my breasts are expanding in preparation to nourish my baby, to give my baby liquid gold. Just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let that settle. Fact, I have to pee every hour. Reframe, I have a lot of extra fluid in my body right now, which eventually will make it easier to transport nourishment to my baby. Take a deep breath in, let that sink in, and a breath out. Fact, I'm too tired to get any of my work done. Reframe, my baby and I are getting a lot of work done. We are building organs, bones, fingers, toes. I will rest here knowing that my body is working overtime. Deep breath in and out. Blink your eyes open. I'm sure there's plenty of other facts that you could reframe. So as you go throughout your days, your next few weeks, just continue to try to exercise that muscle of reframing. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in practice. Namaste.